Hello and welcome everybody back to another wonderful round with the Sausage Dodgers. This week we're at the Autodromo Internazionale de Monza. Yes. Not the Enzo Edino Ferrari, that's Imola. We're at Monza, to say the least. We've got a grueling track ahead of us. Without any further ado, let's take a look at the track details and see what the drivers are all up to here in Italy. Track length of 5.75 kilometers. Temperature is going to be 28 degrees Celsius. Altitude of 183. We have about 43 feet or 13 meters of elevation change with 11 corners, 4 to the left, 7 to the right. It's been the current layout since the early 2000s. I think it was 2000. Keys to the race: master late braking. Got to master it going in towards sector number 1 and in towards the Lesmos. Speaking of the Lesmos, what about Ascari? You need to carry high speed through those corners, making sure that you have high speed stability with that setup is going to be very important. Qualifying being huge, stay out of the mess that's going to form towards the back of the pack. You want to make sure that you qualify up towards the front, so getting those 147s in nice and early would be beneficial. It's going to be all about consistency over your peak laps. Consistency is key. We do have a long 45-minute race ahead of us. Nobody's going to win it at corner number 1, but you sure can lose it there, folks. Taking a look at the gaps right now, it's 4 thousandths that will separate Tessitore from Andrew Kenny up at the front, the tip of the spear. Now we have Steve Alexia Farrell, who's good enough to go up into pole position. Number 22 sitting pretty right now. A driver with 2,900 I rating to his name. Tessitore in P2 right now. And looks to be finishing up his third lap, as it were. Let's take a look at the number 94. Actually, let's go on board with the 94 as we chuck it into Ascari. Mount the curbs over the first one, avoid the curbs to the second, and then chuck it over the curbs to the third to try to straighten out your exit into a straight line to carry all the speed that you possibly can, shooting your way towards Parabolica. And through Parabolica, you have to be very tentative when you get on throttle. You don't want to carry too much speed and run out wide, but Tessitore purple through sector 1. Is it enough through sector 2? No, it's not. That'll leave Tessitore a little further back, 2 tenths down from Steve Alexia Farrell, who is coming through Parabolica now. And coming around the final beautiful corner here at Monza, that will leave Leslie Simpkins a 10th back, who shoots up into P2 with a 147.251, just in the nick of time. Tessitore into P3, Andrew Kenny in P4. Holy Toledo. Andrew Kenny might be looking for double trouble this time this week. He was looking pretty good there at Road Atlanta, and now he's sitting pretty looking good for the next round to come up here at Monza. Nick Stubby in 5th place, Jack McCarthy in 6th, Matthew Clark in 7th, James Horn in 8th, Finn Caitlin in 9th, and Mark Richards will round out the top 10, and we'll get an official look at the results here in a few moments time. But while the last few drivers are finishing up, let's take a look at the championship standings. How's that sound? We have points to review for the championship standings to find out where the drivers are falling right now and who's going to be at the very top and who's going to be working their way from the bottom, as we do have this championship round, this championship concluding in only a few rounds time. So the drivers at the back have to show up and show out now. Right now for Team Tessitore in P1 with 296 points, Deladone in P2. And we have Francisco Cardullo in P3, Mark Richards in P4, Jack McCarthy in 5th, Steve Farrell in 6th, Leslie Simpkins in 7th, Alejandro Girardin in 8th, Andrew Kenny in 9th, Noah Osbaldeston in 10th, Tim Williams in 11th, Oscar Corbett in 12th, Andrea Pizzetti in 13th, Valero Petretti in 14th, Claudio Buccanelli in 15th, Matthew Clark in 16th, Vincenzo Stagnito, Mauro Gabatti in 18th. And we have more yet to follow them. And then we have a blank person, Paulo Minetti, William Graham, Simone Hutchings, Ashley Evans, James Seal. Let's switch over to the TV camera here because I think we are getting ready to grid. And we'll hide this. And of course, SDK decides to do that. Stand by, folks. Steve Farrell, Leslie Simpkins, Tessitore, Andrew Kenny, Nick Stubby, Jack McCarthy, Matthew Clark, James Horn, Finn Caitlin, Mark Richards, Chris Carr, Tim Williams round out the first 6 rows of the grid. Simone Hutchings, Jason Brandt, William Graham, Kevin Barry, Francisco Cardullo, Mauro Gabatti, Buccanelli, Bonoli, Stagnito, Pizzetti, Ewers, Darsh, Corbett, Marcato, Minetti, Pips, Kesterton, Osbaldeston, Codman, Petretti, Sayers, Tedeschi. And that will round out the grid. We did get through them all, even with the technical difficulty. And we are ready to go green flag racing. I was worried we were going to miss the race start here, but we made it just in the nick of time. Drivers revving their engines, the lights about to go out, and when they do, it'll be green, green, green with the Sausage Dodgers for round 4 here at Monza. Let's take a look from the blimp cam because we know it's going to be carnage and chaos leading towards corner number 1. We're going to have to find a nice run of things, but there's a huge 3 wide that went wrong. It looks like the number 50 of Matthew Clark made his way through, but we do, of course, have a pile up in that first chicane. Leslie Simpkins worked his way up into P1. Steve Alexia Farrell down into P2, loses out that pole position. Tessitore into P3. Nick Stubby into P4. Jack McCarthy in 5th. Andrew Kenny down to 6th position. And it is a gaggle of Porsches here as we approach the first chicane for the first time here with the Sausage Dodgers. And if you thought it was this exciting, wait for heat number 2 where the top 10 are going to get thrown in reverse, folks. We have Buccanelli going for, Bononi going for a move on Kevin Barry, but we have more shaking and baking as Leslie Simpkins has a moment and tumbles down the order down into P number 11 now. What happened to Leslie Simpkins? Let's get a replay here. From the blimp cam, Leslie Simpkins is the car leading the race right now. Dips a wheel off into the gravel or maybe just lit up the rear end and then chucks it into the wall, and that will definitely conclude Leslie Simpkins' race right now, but Nick Stubby is going for a move on Tessitore. No, Alexia Farrell falls back down into P3 as Stubby goes forward as we approach Parabolica for the first time. Stubby tries to move to the inside of Tessitore through Parabolica, and we'll find the side-by-side line all the way through down the front straightaway. So no slipstream given, but the side drafting is there. I'm not sure how effective it is in these Porsche Carrera Cups, but they should be working together to avoid the pack battles behind. Alejandro Tessitore on the outside line towards turn number 1, able to defend it fairly reasonably well right now, but we have a 2x2 situation, and Roxy is involved in that. And we'll have to get a look and see who is driving the number 32. That'll be William B. Graham. Ooh, the 23 tries to make a move on that number 32, but the 32 gave the squeeze, and 23 had nowhere left to run to at the end of the day but towards the curbing, and that's not a great exit. So the Michelin machine number 23 will live for another day there, but discretion being the better part of valor was the reason why he lives to see another day right now. Looks like James Horn and Andrew Kenny are in a little bit of a tussle right now. Andrew Kenny, the car ahead, back to where he started finally, up into 4th position. James Horn is trying to change all that up. He's up 3 currently and trying to find more positions on the good. He has the draft down towards Parabolic. He tucks back in for the long sweeping right-hander, and hopefully he thinks it's enough. And hopefully it's enough for the run down towards corner number 1. The 10 moves over to the outside line. The 2 tries to cover off the inside. I'm not sure this is going to be enough work here for that number 2 of Andrew Kenny, but it is enough. Now the 10's on the defensive line from the number 37 of Simone Hutchings in the background. And don't forget about Matthew Clark in that number 50, who really wants to get a slice of the pie back because he had a taste of victory not too long ago. Horn again to the inside. The 2 covers it off. Andrew Kenny really looking for a podium right now, but he's got to defend, so all of this battling really just hurting his lap times dramatically. But Alejandro Tessitore and Nick Stubby are going to go wheel to wheel as well, potentially, and perhaps slow each other down in this battle. Excuse me, this is Stubby and Farrell going side by side towards Ascari. And they might give each other a little bit of trouble because Tessitore is about to check out. He's 1.5 up the road, but these guys have a 2.5 second gap back to Horn, so give and take what you will from that. Oscar Corbett looking like he was in a pack battle for just a few moments in time himself. Steve Codman shaking and baking. Number 5 gets by Michael Phipps. Keep an eye on this lead pack battle. Moved over to the pit wall. Number 22, Steve Exia Farrell. Really trying to cover this off as much as possible. It'll be clean running through the first corner, clean running through the second corner, and on the exit, a little bit of room given, but not nearly enough as the 22 dips and wheels off into the gravel on the exit. And that's a move that would make my blood start to boil. But these drivers have got to keep a cool head because they have this heat to wrap up, this 20-minute round, and then they also have a 40-minute heat right after this. So they have a lot of work ahead of them. Francisco Cardulo, the number 75, up 8 positions right now on the run towards Ascari out of the Lesmos. And that'll be Mr. Jack McCarthy in front of him, the number 24 pilot. Jack, who's looking for another good run of things, as much as he can at least control in the Porsche Carrera Cup. See, I keep saying that. It's not the Porsche Carrera Cup. It is a Porsche 992. .147.4 coming out for the leader right now. 147.5, 147.8, 147.7, 147.8, 147.5 from Simone Hutchings. Expect to see the gap from Simone Hutchings close down to Andrew Kenny and James Horn over the next few. Cardulo got past McCarthy, but McCarthy's not done with that squabble just yet. James Horn in tow of Andrew Kenny, trying to make this work for a few laps now. And will he make it stick at this first time around going into the Rajia chicane? James Horn up 4, Andrew Kenny down 1 from where he started this event. Close pack battles everywhere you look on track. Drivers are absolutely in control of the grid right now. Mauro Gabatti going wheel to wheel and a big wiggle on entry. And the 81 cannot hold on. Spins the number 6, potentially trying to spin him back around. Does so for good measure. And what a recovery from that number 6. And the 81 falls all the way back to P16. Mauro Gabbiati was looking all well and done until he got to the entry of Ascari onto the brakes and lost traction there of the rear wheels. And that really just almost sent him round. And once you lose one position in these packs, you're going to lose a few more to beat. Jack McCarthy now right alongside Francisco Cardulo. Whoa! And the 24 goes bicycle mode. But the 75 doesn't care if he's battling a bike, a MotoGP bike, or a bicycle, or even another Porsche on track. 75 pit maneuver to the 24 going into the Rajia chicane. And now Mr. Tim Williams and Jack McCarthy have to settle this debate right now between the two of them of who's going to lead this pack, because we know that they don't want to fight with each other. Vincenzo Stagnino is right behind. Will happily take one, if not both positions, if they don't settle that debate. Jack McCarthy succeeds the position because I believe he had a slowdown penalty from cutting the track after being hit. So that'll decide that debate between the two of them. Gap up ahead between Tessitore and Farrell has opened up to 1.4 seconds. It's 2.5 from Farrell to Stubby. James Horn a half second back from there. Andrew Kenny now, excuse me, as James Horn is into the wall at Parabolica. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened to Horn here. And he just loses it going through Parabolica. And that's all she wrote. Let's see if we can get another look at what happened. Yeah, on entry to Parabolica, just the rear end breaks free from Horn. And that'll be it. Horn down to P17 now. Excuse me. It's just about to say no damage at least, but he does have damage to the rear end of the vehicle. So the aero package not really in full effect right now for Horn. Jack McCarthy to the outside line on the number 21 of Vincenzo Stagnito. A little bump and run given to the number 21 potentially, but Jack McCarthy is carrying a ton of speed right now through Ascari. This is where the overspeed is really going to set you up for the run down towards Parabolica. You may not get the move done, but you'll compromise the person's line through Parabolica and you'll carry more speed on exit. Jack McCarthy is staging this one up pitch perfectly, gets the switchback engaged and gets alongside the number 21, and there's another car spun out. Who is that tumbling down the order? Side by side coming down the front straight, leading down towards corner number 1. The 24 and the number, wowza, no! Vincenzo Stagnito, the number 21 and the 24 do come together at corner number 1. And we'll have to get a replay of that incident there. Let's see if this will come through. And that's how it happened. The 21 and the 24 come together on the exit of turn number 2, and Jack McCarthy tumbles down P19 as it were currently. And through the second Lesmo, it's like Merle Gabbiati pulls through on Jason Brand. Codman and Horn battling right now, the 22 ahead. Oh, that's Farrell. We're going to see if we can find the crash for Farrell. Here it is. It's coming up in just a moment. This is in the middle of Parabolica and now getting on throttle. The 22 loops it all on his own. Perhaps the dirty air having some effect there. .22 in the 5, going after it into the first chicane. It is the first and the best passing opportunity for these drivers, but you have to be masterful on the brakes there. Second opportunity is obviously to set something up out of the Raggia chicane, as we do see a side-by-side battle between the 31 and Giovanni Marcato. Oh, excuse me, no, this is Pizzetti and Boccanelli. And all these Porsches back here with rear damage. Simone Hutchings, Andrew Kenny, Nick Stubb, all together on track. The battle for P2, P3, and P4 completely undecided, as we've had a big shakeup in the standings as the 22 loses out. 17 positions now on the night. That'll be Farrell. A 3, a little bump there to the 50 coming through. That's Matthew Clark, and there is a run and a bump on a driver in the background. That'll be Simone Hutchings caught up in that. Get a replay of what happened to Hutchings here in the number 50. Excuse me, the number 37. 37 is leading the 2 to the inside line, clips the 37, spins him round, and we'll have to let the stewards decide who's at fault for that one. McCarthy fighting for every position possible and spins the 5. Not sure who came over onto whom, but there are body parts all across the track right now. And I mean Porsche body parts, not human body parts, of course. Lap 11 of 11 underway right now. Drivers about to cross the line will complete one more lap. Let's take a look at those gains right now. Here's Bononi battling it out with Gabbiati. Battle and the run towards turn 1 belongs to the 23, Bonini. Bononi. Excuse me. The Italian man carrying speed to the first chicane. Masterfully delivers. Battles it out with the 81 continued. Now, Tessitore really has done a phenomenal job. Didn't do it from pole position either. Had to make up all those positions on track, working his way through the grid from P3 up into P1. It'll be Tessitore taking the victory here at Monza for heat number 1. But worry not, we have heat number 2 coming up in just a few moments' time, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Andrew Kenny will claim a podium, pending penalties, obviously, for Andrew Kenny, or penalties reviewed by the stewards for Andrew Kenny in the number 2. Nick Stubb, 3rd place, and the number 3 for him. Matthew Clark in the number 50 in 4th place. Francisco Cardillo in 5th place. Chris Carr in 6th. Simone Hutchings in 7th. Vincenzo Stagnito in 8th. Mauro Gabbiati and Marco Bononi in 10th. Kevin Bray in 11th, Jason Brandt in 12th, Tim Williams in 13th. As the session concludes, we'll get the rest of the standings populated here, as we do have a 5-minute warm-up period that we'll be taking a short break from. So stand by just a few moments' time while we get the results posted. And heat number 2 is just a few moments away. So Tessitore pulling out even more points in the Porsche Cup Championship. Unbelievable pace. Can he do it again from the back of the grid, though? I think that's always been a true test of what a driver is capable of, as well, is if they're really a good driver, can they do it from the back of the pack? Most importantly, can they do it cleanly on top of everything else? It's one thing to make overtakes happen and do it with contact or doing it the dirty way, but it's another thing to do it the clean way time and time again. Sausage Dodgers are here to prove that they're able to do that time and time again and achieve those results with relative ease. Mostly a clean race, a couple of incidences where the overlap existed, and I think drivers just need a little bit more spatial awareness of where their car exists before they turn in or try to overtake another car. But these Porsche Cups are just so hard to tame. You just have your right foot controls everything about the direction in which this car points. Talking with a couple drivers the last couple days, it's such minimal inputs on the steering wheel. You're really not even going past 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock on the steering wheel, but you're getting this rotation of the car that is just so phenomenal. And you're doing it all with your left and right foot. Your left foot obviously being on the brake pedal, your right foot being on the gas pedal. Being able to achieve those results in a car of this size and achieve these lap times is absolutely phenomenal. The drivers were down into 147s. Expect to see drivers get a little bit faster during this heat. We do have the warm-up wrapping up right now. Big shout out and thanks to everybody right now who subscribed to the Patreon, whether you've given a one-off donation or whether you've donated time and time again. Gotta give a big shout out to everybody down below. Shout out to the Meat Wall, Andrew Kesterton, Simone Hutchings, and Paul Cook. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers, Leslie Simpkins, Andrew Kesterton, Andrew Kenny, Mark Richards, and Jack McCarthy, I believe. Yes, Jack McCarthy as well. All in that tier 1. For the grid, we have Bononi, Gabbiati, Stagnito, Hutchings, Carr, Cardulo, Clark, Stubb, Andrew Kenny, Alejandro Tessitore, Kevin Barre, Jason Brandt, Mr. Tim Williams, Petretti, Corbett, Graham, McCarthy, Pizzetti, Boccanelli, Mark Richards, Simpkins, Sayers, Farrell, Minetti, Caitlin, Darch, Phipps, Marcato, Horn, Osbedelson, Ewers, Tedishi, Codman, and Kesterton in 34th. That will round things out, and we're ready to go racing here at Monza for the second time. And it's green, green, green here at Monza, and there's a lot of cars squabbling for position right now. Not sure who that was in the red, white, and green machine in the far background, really diving for positions. Now, is it going to be clean through corner number 1? It's looking like it's calm, cool, and collected through corner number 1 and corner number 2. I'm definitely not seeing the parking lot we saw earlier. It is clean through corner number 1 for the second time of asking. Driver's doing a phenomenal job to keep it on the black stuff here tonight. One driver taking to the runoff road to avoid any accident, but that is the right thing to do. Just got to relinquish a couple positions at the end of the day. No harm, no foul there. Gabbiati already with a half-second gap to the number 23 of Bononi. Driver down 1 position, so Gabbiati up 1 on the good for the evening. A lot of shaking and baking going on here in the midfield. Oscar Corbett shaking things up, not gaining any positions. Pizzetti is up 4 right now. The driver in front, Vincenzo Stagnito, finds a way up into P2 ahead of Bononi. 23 tries to snap back on the number 21 under the brakes, headed towards Saagar. 23 gets the move done back and secure back down to -1. Vincenzo Stagnito still on the pounce though. We're gonna have to keep an eye on Farrell here in the background as well, working the way back from a big recovery after a big run of unfortunate luck going in towards Paragolica during heat number 1. Basically sent Farrell to the very back of the pack in a long recovery drive. Vincenzo Stagnito and Simone Hutchings now going wheel to wheel. The 37 that was spun out earlier, or excuse me, on the last lap of heat number 1. Now on a recovery drive, the 21 mounts the sausages, does not dodge them. And a 37 trying to challenge back, but there is a big spin in the background there. I think that was Bononi. '81 leads the race. The 37 of Simone Hutchings up 2 positions right now. Jason Brandt up 4. Tessitore up 5. Up into 5th. Started in 10th position. Now up into P5, obviously. Oh, big wiggle there for Francisco Cardulo. And Tessitore goes through. Chris Carr goes through on Vincenzo Stagnito, who has the big wiggle and lots of aero damage to the rear end. Francisco Cardulo leading the charge. Quarter of a second the gap though to Tessitore, who won heat number 1 of round 4 at Monza. Tessitore on the charge to Francisco Cardulo to the outside line, trying to carry the 104 with him, but no, the 104 can't get there. The 04 can. No, the 104 does get dragged alongside, but the 75 is through losing positions right now. Francisco Cardulo is holding on for all of his might. That's Chris Carr in the 104, and we've seen him run at the pretty top of the field in multiple categories, so Chris Carr is definitely no slouch. He can definitely battle with Francisco Cardulo and Tessitore here at the front of the field. Oh, a bunch of wheels goes the 104. The 75 goes round as well, and they collide here at Monza. Mauro Gabbiati and Simone Hutchings. Now the battle for P1. These gentlemen really need to settle this debate now about who's going to lead this event. They cannot argue and squabble for time this early in the race. 5 minutes and 20 seconds underway. Gabbiati gets the move done on Simone Hutchings, but I don't think Hutchings really is upset with that. Hutchings right now needs to tuck in behind and give the bump draft to the 81, but doesn't do so. Gets the side draft going towards corner number 1. 37 to the outside line. 81 of Gabbiati. Doesn't defend. Allows Simone Hutchings to escape up the road. Both of these drivers, 18.7 for Simone Hutchings, 16.5 for Gabbiati, 3K for Tessitore, 2K for Matthew Clark, 2,300 for Vincenzo Stagnito. good pack battle right here. The 6, the 27, and the 797 all coming together. 79.7 comes down nearly 3 lanes onto the number 6. That's Tim Williams up 4 positions right now, defending from Noah Osbaldeston in the 27, who's up 20 on the good for the evening. That's Noah Osbaldeston in the OnlyFans Porsche. Of course, Tim Williams driving the 797 Sausage Dodgers machine. 22 to the inside at Parabolica on the 27 of Osbaldeston. Tessitore pulls out the fastest lap of the race, 47.5 that time around. 6 seconds back from the leader of the race right now. 3-way squabble going in towards corner number 1. Another squabble up here between Valerio Petretti, Andrew Kenny, and Matthew Clark. Oh no, is that Tim Williams gone round? That was a Sausage Dodgers vehicle. Oscar Corbett, the victim there. See if we can get a replay of what happened to Corbett right now. Leading down in towards Daraja chicane, got up on 2 wheels and did it all by his lonesome. And back to the live action. Petretti, Andrew Kenny separated by nearly just nothing on track. Not even a tenth between the two of them. Kenny backs off at the entrance to Parabolica, perhaps wanting to get a good run on Petretti in front. 47.4 for Tessitore. Here comes Andrew Kenny towards the first chicane. Doesn't go for the move on 20, perhaps happy with the way the race has been running for the both of them. He was a little bit faster that last lap around, but they are catching up to Vincenzo Stagnito together. Got to check in with Tessitore though, because he's caught up to the 81 of Mauro Gabbiati. The 04 and the 81 coming through the first of the Lesmos. Tessitore to the inside on the 81. Now fully alongside the livery lab driver. Carries it through and gets the move done and dusted on Mauro Gabbiati, who's down 1, and Alejandro Tessitore only has 1 driver ahead of him, but he is a whopping 1.5 now up the road, but he's got 30 minutes to get it done. So I think it's just a matter of time, not a matter of if, but when Alejandro Tessitore will catch up. Let's check in with Osbaldeston, who's caught up to Matthew Clark. And Osbaldeston is giving the bump draft to the number 50. The bump, the run down towards corner number 1. The 27 to the inside, the 50 of Matthew Clark has nowhere to go but to fall in single file for now. The 27 got that one done. That'll be Osbaldeston in the OnlyFans machine. Bononi and Oscar Corbett wheel to wheel. At entry, the number 23 of Bononi is down 20 positions after an early incident really hurt his charge, sent him down the order. Now battling with Oscar Corbett, who had that spin at the second chicane. As Corbett mount those sausages again, he does. It goes airborne for just a moment. Oscar Corbett not afraid of doing things twice and expecting different results, apparently. '23, the 998, and the 55. Nose to tail. We got a little battle back here between Minetti and Tedici, but I think Tedici just backed out. Let's Minetti through. Simone Hutchings and Tessitore. Now only 1/10 of a second separates the two of them. Now that disappears. And Tessitore is fully alongside. Will he get the move done before we even get to the entry of turn number 1? He does. Tessitore now into the lead of the race, and that'll be 9 positions gained on the evening. That is a good run, but Noah Osbaldeston has got the biggest gain on the night. 25 from where he started. Driver of the 27 OnlyFans machine in 5th place and still battling forward. Gets a run on Vincenzo Stagnito. The run is good down towards Lesmo 1, and it's done and dusted for the OnlyFans car. Oh, but Vincenzo Stagnito under braking for Lesmo 2, tried to snap back, but Osbaldeston, quick on his feet, was there and ready to outbrake Stagnito. Nick Ewers and Oscar Corbett now toe-to-toe. Battle between the 998 and the 55. Getting a little dicey on track. That is Ewers in the 55 there. The blue and green machinery. And the 988 in front. 55 trying to look to the inside towards Ascari. Can't find the daylight that exists there. Corbett, too quick. Half a second the difference between the leaders right now. Alejandro Tessitore and Simone Hutchings separated by that half second now. On board with the 55 in chase of Oscar Corbett ahead. Now, half a second is the gap. Can Simone Hutchings do anything about that? Tim Williams under attack from Francisco Cardulo, the number 75. Tim Williams having a much better race this time around, up 5 from where he started. Now running in the top 10, P8 for Tim Williams. Andrea Pizzetti and Petretti side by side through corner number 1. And Francisco Cardullo did get by Tim Williams in the background of this pack battle. Couple wheels dipped off into the kitty litter there. Doesn't result in too much of Pizzetti's speed being hurt. Petretti looks to the inside at the entrance of Ascari. Maybe it did hurt his exit speed. The 31 wounded now. And Pizzetti's already caught up by Francisco Cardullo. The run to Parabolica definitely belongs to Francisco Cardullo. He's got about 5 kilometers an hour faster, and he's on the attack now. The side draft will become effective. I gotta get a little closer than that for it to become fully engaged. Tim Williams catching up as he slips in behind Pizzetti. Here's the onboard shot with Cardullo. Car off out of the way. That'll be the 3 of Nick Stubb. What happened to Nick Stubb? He's down 22 positions. Down 22 positions and down a lap as well. And Jack McCarthy crashes. Let's give you a replay of what happens to Jack here. Ooh, just did not dodge the sausage. Back to Cardullo and Pizzetti. Cardullo's down 2, but wants more. Pizzetti is up 11 positions. Osbaldeston, silent but deadly, up 27 positions tonight. Someone Hutchings into pit lane right at the halfway point of this event. Cardullo with not enough overlap to attack the 31 of Pizzetti in front. Now to the outside. Can't make it work there either. I think Pizzetti is overdriving the car a little bit. 75 of Cardullo can let the race come to him, especially if he's been fuel saving this entire time. On board with Francisco Cardullo. Looking at the 31 in front, how would you make this move happen? Where are you looking to make this move stick? Pit stop calls for a lot of the field right now. That'll be the first 14 into pit lane. Tessitore, obviously the first driver out right now. Vincenzo Stagnino, the only driver to stay out of pit lane from the first 14. Cardullo and Pizzetti back to where they ended that battle. Now Tim Williams gets the jump on both of them through pit road with about a quarter of a second gain on Pizzetti. In just the pit lane time, Tim Williams and Pizzetti now wheel to wheel. Pizzetti goes airborne on two wheels. Tim Williams cautious over the sausages. The 75 wants to get that position, resume the battle with Pizzetti in the 31 and is able to do so. Now Boccanelli in tow. The Italian 009. Now Vincenzo Stagnino comes down pit road and Tessitore should re-inherit the lead of the event. Kevin Bourret with a black flag penalty, probably for speeding in the pits. Pizzetti leads Francisco Cardullo, Tim Williams, and Boccanelli. Vincenzo Stagnino comes out in fourth position. Right in front of and sandwiched between Osby Delson and Matthew Clark. 2x2 into the first chicane. 75 to the outside, gets touched by the 31. I think that was just two does not go into one scenario. Take a look at Andrew Kenny, who's down 7 positions right now. There's a long way to go for their recovery drive. The number 2. Leslie Simpkins and Mauro Gabbiati. And Pizzetti and Williams invert positions as Williams trying to attack. Williams gets by. Pizzetti gets sent around, goes down out of the top 10. Let's see what happened there between Pizzetti and Williams. Is Mr. Tim Williams going to have to visit the steward's room now? Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Complicated one, to say the least. back over to Simpkins and Gettiati. Simpkins giving the bump draft to the car in front. Vincenzo Stagnito, the driver up ahead. Down one, really trying to hold on to this top five tonight, but Valerio Petretti in the number 20 has gained 9 positions, really charging ahead forward. Noah Osbaldson with 13 minutes remaining in this race has a 3-second gap to Simone Hutchings up in front. I wonder if he can close down that gap. Petretti, the fastest of the trio here. Moves to the inside line, coming towards corner number 1. It will be a look at the stamp and ascend for the number 20, but will they touch? The 21 gets a little bit close to the curb there. The 20 just went deep and wide into the kitty litter. I think the 21 left enough racing space, but Petretti falls back down 2 positions. Simone Darsh, Jack McCarthy, Oscar Corbett here. This is Darsh in the 44 in chase of Jack and Oscar Corbett, the 998 and the number 24 up ahead. Cardullo and Williams on track together. Bononi and Nick Ewers going through one of the fastest parts of the track side by side, the 55 and the 23. Don't care what position they're battling for, but they're going to battle for it nonetheless. Ewers at the inside at the second chicane. The 23 falls back, gets a better run on exit though, and I think Ewers might be under attack from Bononi. And a little scare tactic there, and Ewers goes deep. A little scare tactic ended up working. About Tim Williams and Cardullo. Williams in front of Cardullo. Petretti into pit lane. Great clean 3-way menage a trois right now. Tim Williams leads Cardullo or Bocanelli. The more these two keep on battling, the more Bocanelli is going to keep licking his lips and saying, yes, invite me to the party. Leslie Simpkins and Chris Carr. No strangers to each other either. Mark Richards up 10 in the number 420. All drivers taking their appropriate pit stops now. And some of them taking even 2 pit stops, apparently. Now, Osbjornsen has gotten by Simone Hutchings. All in the meanwhile, Oscar Corbett and Jack McCarthy still in their squabble. Valerio Petretti involved in this. And Simone Darsh in tow now. Drivers pushing hard, going wide into the kitty litter, pushing to the absolute brink of track limits. Luckily, we don't have track limits to worry about too much. This isn't very old school track with track limits violations being punished with those gravel traps or having to take to the runoff road at corner number 1. Oscar Corbett right now behind Jack McCarthy. And the run to one single file line. I think these guys waiting for a last lap battle. Gabbiati close to Mark Richards. The 420 trying to hold on to that top 10. Scott Andrew Kenny, who wants a top 10 as well. Heard Andrew talking about all of his practice this week in the Discord channel. He's really looking forward to the Porsche Cup this week. Knew that he was fast, knew that he had the pace. He just needed to get through turn 1 cleanly. If you're watching live in the YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and vote for your driver of the day. There is a current poll going right now. The 20 looks to the inside on the 998, opens up the door just a little bit here at Parabolica. The 998 has to go wide to allow the racing breath there. Andrew Kenny's into pit lane. This will promote everybody further back into the top 10 or towards the top 10 at the very least. And we've got 2 more laps left to go. 20 covers off the inside. The 998 around the outside. Can't find the room, but the 20 switchback engaged, and the overlap was there, and the 20 of Valerio Petretti goes round. There are a lot of incidents like that this race. We're going to have a lot to review with the stewards. Penalty points were handed out for the third round of this championship. Gabbiati and Mark Richards again at Parabolica. Mark Richards to the outside towards one again. Gabbiati to the inside. Knows how to defend this one. It'll be Mark Richards with the overspeed through one. Now through two. Mark Richards loses it a little bit on exit. Gabbiati is there. Ready to attack. To the inside, this time at the second chicane. The 81 backs out, 420 wins out for now. No, Osbadelsson brought down that gap to just 7 seconds between himself and Tessitore. Best lap being a 46.83. Gabbiati defends again against Mark Richards. Richards outside, inside for the following corner, but it'll be Gabbiati with the overspeed and the better of the exits. Richards inside for Curva Parabolica. Decided early, that's what he wanted. Stuck with the racing line, 81 to the outside. 420, very tentative to get on throttle, drifts out wide just a little bit, narrowly in front of the 81, barely clear, but is. And this is going to be a drag to the line between this duo. We are on to the final lap. Lap 21 concluded. We're on to lap 22 now, side by side through sector 1, but the 420 has the poorer of the two exits. The 81 of Mauro Gabbiati will drive forward and pulls out 0.4 of a second. Andrew Kenny in the battle for 18th place right now with Leslie Simpkins in front. But Alejandro Tessitore with the back-to-back wins here with the Sausage Dodgers Porsche Cup round 4 at Monza will claim victory for the second time this evening and a whole haul of points for that 0-4 machine. He can walk away on top. He can walk away with his head held high. He is the king of Italy right now. It's Alejandro Tessitore. No, Osbadelston in the OnlyFans machine, number 27, crosses the line in P2 with 28 positions gained. Simone Hutchings in P3. Vincenzo Stagnito in P4 in his battle with Matthew Clark to the line was only 1/10 of a second between them. Francisco Cardullo in front of Tim Williams by 1/2 a second, but Buccanelli was back there by 9/1000ths of a second. Mauro Gabbiati in P9, Mark Richards in P10, Chris Carr in P11, Jack McCarthy in P12. Oscar Corbett in P13, battling with Simone Darch. It's a drag to the line, but Darch backs out. Paolo Minetti is into pit lane and should round things out in 15th position. Jason Brandt in 16th position. Leslie Simpkins in 17th. Valerio Petretti in 18th. Kevin Bure in 19th. William Graham in 20th. Andrew Kenny in 21st. James Horn in 22nd. Andrea Pizzetti in P22. Nick Ures in P24, Valerio Tedeschi in P25. Marco Bononi down 25 tonight, had the worst of luck in 26. Giovanni Mercado, Michael Phipps Nick Stubb, Finn Caitlin, Steve Farrell, Philip Sayers, Andrew Kesterton, and Steve Codeman will round out 34 participants on the evening tonight. Stand by, folks. We'll be right back with a replay and driver interviews. Stand by for Alejandro Tessitore.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
And just waiting for Alejandro Tessitore to come and join me, or if he will come and join me is the real question. Driver and winner of both heats tonight. Alejandro Tessitore did the hard work in heat number 1 to get P1 at the end of the race, working his way from P3, if I remember correctly, up into P1. And then started from the back of the pack. P1 results in P10 for heat number 2, and Alejandro Tessitore had to do it all over again. Climbing up those 9 positions tonight. He did a great job keeping it calm, cool, and collected. The 3K rated driver showing us why he is 3K rated. I don't believe we are going to get Alejandro Tessitore here tonight, so we will wrap up the stream. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Really appreciate all the love and support. Did anybody vote on the driver of the day? Let's check out the questions real quick. No answers there. So that'll wrap things up for us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to be your host. I am Saagar Bakshi, a.k.a. The Real High, bringing you the Sausage Dodgers Porsche Cup. And we'll be back for more action in 1 week's time, or we'll see you in a few days for the Endurance Cup as well, because that is a series to be involved with. We have so many drivers there. It is phenomenal stuff. Come check out the Sausage Dodgers. The link is in the description below. Expect to see you on track. See you soon. Take care. And as always, be safe.